let's jump right into a really unique way of looking at a huge moment in history. We usually think of big historical events as just a bunch of dates and names we have to memorize. But what if they could be more than that? What if they could actually be a tool for learning? So that's the big question we're diving into today. And I know, it sounds a little weird, right? But the secret is all in the power of a good story. We're going to see how these incredibly powerful emotional narratives, like the fall of the Berlin Wall, can be turned into seriously effective learning tools. The kind that make a language stick in your brain in a way that, flashcards just never could. To figure this out, we're going to break down this really innovative language learning method that uses the fall of the Berlin Wall as its big case study. We'll look at how a super complex historical event can be boiled down not just into a story, but into a structured lesson that's actually memorable and has real meaning. Okay, first things first. To build a powerful lesson, you absolutely need a powerful story. You need to feel something. So let's quickly set the stage for one of the most dramatic chapters of the 20th century. Because really understanding the feeling of that time is the key to why this whole learning method works so well.
So after World War II, Berlin gets split up. But as tensions started to rise, East Germany did something drastic. Literally overnight in 1961, a barrier made of barbed wire and concrete just appeared, slicing a whole city in two. For the next 28 years, this wall wasn't just a line on a map, it was this stark, physical symbol of the Cold War, of the division between East and West.
Now, the key to making this a good lesson is anchoring the story in a powerful emotion. And here, that central theme is oppression. This is so important because the wall wasn't just about keeping people out, its main job was to keep its own citizens in. It was a tool of constant, unjust control. And that control, well, it had a tragic, very human cost. This number, 171, that's the minimum number of people we know were killed trying to cross from east to west. Every single one of them is a story of just pure desperation in the face of this oppressive system. And that desperation led to some absolutely incredible ingenuity. I mean, people went to unbelievable lengths. They crawled through sewers, dug tunnels, like the famous Tunnel 57 that freed 57 people, and even flew in homemade hot air balloons. Some even fired arrows with cables attached to create zip lines. All told, over 5,000 people actually made it. And every single attempt is just a testament to that powerful human drive for freedom. So after decades of being the symbol of brutal efficiency and control, you'd think the wall would come down with a huge battle, right? Nope. It came down because of a bureaucratic mistake, a blunder. And this is where the story takes a really fascinating, almost unbelievable turn. So how did these dominoes fall? Well, it all started with a mistake. An East German official misspoke at a press conference and accidentally announced that people could travel freely, effective immediately. The news spread like wildfire on West German TV. Hearing this, thousands of people rushed to the checkpoints, and the guards, totally overwhelmed and with no clear orders, finally made the historic call to just open the gates. And this right here, this is the phrase that changed the world. It wasn't some bold, powerful declaration. It was a hesitant, uncertain, almost mumbled answer to a reporter's question. This one accidental trigger started a chain reaction that nobody could stop. And in this moment, you can see the power shift immediately. As soon as those gates were open, ordinary people just took matters into their own hands. They became wall woodpeckers, grabbing any tool they could find, hammers, picks, you name it, to physically start dismantling the very symbol of their oppression, one piece at a time. Okay, so we've got this incredible, powerful, emotional story. Now for the really cool part. How do you break that down into language lessons you'll actually remember? This is where the story transforms into a tool for education. The secret sauce is connecting the vocabulary directly to the story's big moments. The word checkpoint isn't just a word anymore. Now you can feel the tension of the crowds gathering there. Reunification isn't just some abstract idea, it's the emotional goal that came next. By tying words to these dramatic events, you give them an emotional hook that makes them so much easier to remember. And it's not just single words either. The method also pulls out expressions that really capture the feeling of the moment. Phrases like a turning point or a wave of change get at the universal emotions here. These are phrases you can use in a million other situations, but learning them here, connected to such a powerful example, gives them real weight and real meaning.
This little detail adds another really fascinating layer to the whole idea of language. Even world leaders were incredibly aware of the power of their words and their actions. President Bush knew that gloating, or metaphorically dancing on the wall, would have been a terrible idea. His restraint was a kind of diplomatic language in itself, showing that during a really delicate moment, what you don't say can be just as important as what you do.
And here you can really see the different ways language is used in a crisis. On one side, you have the raw, emotional demand of the people, just shouting, "Open the gate." But on the other, you have the calculated, strategic language of politicians talking about 10-point plans. Both are absolutely essential parts of the story.
So what this method really shows us is that history isn't just a dusty collection of facts about what happened way back when. It's a library, just filled with powerful stories of emotion, conflict, and resolution. And by tapping into those stories, we can create these incredible tools for understanding and for learning right here and now. Which really only leaves one question: what story will you choose?